We are going to do energy and spirit oracle cards today. Energy and spirit. We're going to talk about today's Mercury Cazimi. Just give me 1 minute while I'm finding this video and getting it set up and shared out. If you're just finding me, take a second to say hi. Go ahead and leave a comment, especially if you're trying to get cards and things like that. Make sure you're also hitting the share button. Also will help you to get cards and things like that too. And we'll talk about today's energies and what's kind of going on. So take a second to share this out. Make sure you left a comment. We're going to get started in 1 minute. Just doing some cards and see what's coming through. And just give me 1 minute. I'm finishing up sharing this out. Just take a second to hit the share button. So I did put a couple, I've been trying to put a lot of stuff on my website for those of you guys that have noticed. So I did put an article this morning on my website, just kind of talking about the energies. We have a Mercury Cazimi, so this can, not to mention, we do have some solar activity. We've been in a little bit of a geomagnetic storm that really started to come in yesterday. And of course, we're in the galactics too, right? So we have a lot of different energies. Now, we can just add in our sorry, hold on a second, my phone. We can add in our Mercury Cazimi today. So when we have Cazimi, this means heart of the sun. And whenever any planet is at the heart of the sun, it supercharges. So we're dealing with the sun is our vitality, our life force energy, and direct energy from source. And then we have Mercury there. So this is shining a light on areas of communication, relationship, and how we perceive reality, my favorite, how we see things. And so these things are kind of coming to the surface. Doesn't surprise me. Remember that Mercury is ruled by so we have Gemini season, and it's bringing up a lot of the same themes too. You guys might feel, since that Gemini new moon, a little bit, I don't want to say scattered, but that's how I describe it, a little bit of scattered energy. You might be feeling a little ADHD energy all over the place at times, because we're not done with Gemini season. We're just kind of moving into it. You might feel like you're having trouble sleeping. Your mind's going a million miles a minute. You're getting a lot of downloads, a lot of thoughts, maybe even a lot of ideas, like what to do next. You know, it could be creative projects, bursts of energy. And so as we're navigating Gemini season, it has a lot to do with obviously throat and communication, but mind, right? And things like that. So we have a lot of these themes kind of coming up. Really good time though to be, we're doing the work on the thoughts. Okay, so today is a powerful manifestation porthole too. Remember that whatever you're thinking today with that Cazimi energy is going to be super amplified. You're thinking it, you are manifesting it, you are creating it, and you're speaking it too, right? So pay attention, because your thoughts and your words are like spells, a little bit amplified, a little bit extra today, but that could be a good thing, might be a bad thing if you're, really focused on negativity, but we're trying to focus on the positive, right? So it could be a really good thing, and you can be making that work for you too, if you've been trying to manifest something. So today is like a porthole, a direct porthole to source, obviously, but also to your spirit guides and, anything interdimensional kind of coming through. This is a really good time to be working with spirit or your spirit guides, just paying attention if you're getting messages. A lot of them may come through the mind today, okay? You could be just getting an idea, someone pops into your head, whatever it is, how you're getting these messages, but powerful energy coming at us. Not going to stay too focused on this because we are going to do some cards today, but make sure you guys are checking out my website. SparksOfDivineLightHealing.com is what got me on video today. I'm just telling you, I have a lot of really nice stuff on my website for you, okay? I know sometimes I kind of put it up and don't tell you, but I have a lot of really nice stuff that will really, really help you on your journey, no matter where you're at with it. Hi, I am an energy healer. I help you guys with healings, clearings, and activation work. And if you need me, just go ahead and book me on my website, SparksOfDivineLightHealing.com. I do psychic readings, I do medium readings, and I teach classes like Reiki and Sikkim. I have a ton of classes, healings, phone call sessions. I do coaching with you guys, everything you can think of on there. If you need me, just go ahead and book me on my website. I am doing activations today. I've pinned them on this video, and I always think hopefully all over social media. But you can find anything in my shop. If it's in my shop, you can do it all the time. Anyways, I'm really good about keeping my site up to date as we're flowing through and navigating these ascension shifts and ascension energies. So we're doing energy and spirit oracle cards. If you guys are able to sign up and be a supporter or send PayPal donations, or send stars, please do. It's one way you can give something back out of this page if you're getting something out of it. So always open to that. So if you're sending stars, you're going to get a psychic shout out, and it's an awesome way you guys can help support my mission. All right. I think we covered everything. I see Wendy Kelly. Journey guide, travel and change in location. Okay, now this is a mixed bag. Some of you guys might notice that usually your journey of life might take you all over the place. It just kind of depends. And so sometimes when I see it, this might not resonate, but just take the messages and get what you came here for out of them. Some of you guys, this could be like actually moving all over the place in your lifetime. Like I was trying to put everything and make sense of my life and did a lot of writing about it and things like that. So some of you guys might be like literally change in location, or you've moved a couple times in your life and you're trying to make sense of it or whatever it is. And then this is sometimes can indicate that you're some type of grid worker, especially if you're moved, like going between destinations or whatever. Now this could just be needing a vacation, and raise your hand if you need a vacation. Like right here. Okay, this could just be, needing a vacation. This might not be like this second. I was making a joke like yesterday, let's go now. Like let's just go, right? Like I can be a little flighty like that, right? And things like that. It might not be this second, but this could be getting some type of, do you have a bucket list? Places you'd love to see on earth? This could be some type of like actual holiday travel destination. I've been talking a lot about going somewhere next year, like getting the idea. So before we manifest anything, we get the idea. I call that a seed, okay? We get the idea. It doesn't always happen that second. It's like, ooh, I'd like to go to Peru, Machu Picchu, Egypt. Let's talk sacred destinations, right? And so sometimes this could be a sacred destination or just a place you're called to. And I always say, pay attention to the places that you're called to. I believe we revisit our past lives in this lifetime, places that we're called to visit. Like if you find yourself, living in a place or even going to visit certain places, or your path has taken you to certain cultures or places, this can give you deep insights and glimpses into your soul on a deeper level. Let's just say, you were called to travel to another country and you were there and spend a lot of time there. This can indicate that you had past lifetimes there. But also we carry codes, okay, ascension codes. So when we go to other places, they can really, really activate us. In fact, I love to spend time in spiritual places because it can really activate your energy, and we pick up codes, and it can change our energy field and frequency in a lot of spiritual places that are really good to us too. So maybe this is, you've been called to move. It doesn't have to be across the country or to another country. It could be literally across town. This can indicate like maybe spirit has been nudging you to make some changes in your life. This could indicate a move if that doesn't resonate, maybe a travel. It doesn't have to be next week. Maybe, really thinking about that. Like if you were to not come back to Earth, because I hate to be the one to tell you guys this, but your soul loves to travel galaxies and planets and dimensions. And if this was your last experience, hopefully, if you're on Earth, right? What would you do? Are there places you want to see, places you want to visit that would enrich your life, or that you're being called to? And so sometimes this could be obvious, like, oh yeah, I'm, really called to go visit, on a spiritual pilgrimage, we could call it, to find myself. Or this could be less obvious, like, I'd really like to get my dream house or to move or whatever it is too. So this kind of stuff is coming up for you. When I see the travel message, it can indicate the spiritual journey. Where you're on Earth, right? We're making a very spiritual journey. Sometimes we get lost in the mundane and we don't notice that too. And so sometimes this is your soul's journey, and this is, where you're being called to. And so we can really, really, I always talk about paying attention to your intuition, because it's not going to make sense for anyone else but you. And to pay attention if you're getting any spirit messages or sudden urges. This could be to visit a place, or to just, change locations. Sometimes changing our environment can be really, really positive on us, we know too. Okay, let's do Pam Gilmore. Your eternal spirit, higher self, sacred intuition. So really, this is, we talked about connecting with your intuition, which is very solar plexus, but also connecting with your higher self. Well, today is a huge gateway for connecting with your higher self. And we really want to open up our chakra system and our energy system so that we can actually do that and do it better. And so as we're working with our energy and doing energy work, this is meant to help us connect more. It's meant to help with our spiritual connection, connecting more to source energies and opening up and releasing any blocks or wounds or anything kind of in the way. We know that trauma really blocks up our system and things like that too. So the more open we are, the more that we're going to be able to connect on that intuitive level. And so sometimes you just think, you're getting an intuitive feeling, a psychic sense, we could call it. And you're getting an intuitive pull or a feeling or a sense you're picking up on. And oftentimes this is how our higher self, spirit guides, or even angels communicate with us, because we're picking up on it energetically, processed through the body, right? You might just have a feeling, like a feeling you should or shouldn't do something, whatever it is. It's very important that we are paying attention to our intuition, especially when we're living in a society where we've been taught to suppress our emotions and emotional energy, which leads to illness and things like that and imbalances. And when we can really open up our guidance system and our intuition, oftentimes is requiring us to really pay attention to how we feel about things, right? And that's one of the most powerful ways, especially a lot of you guys are like empaths, you're feelers, and you're going to feel it. You might feel someone's energy or how you feel, and I think that's important that we have a good baseline for our own feelings and energy and how we should feel first off, because we're always picking up a lot of energies and we can become kind of muddied up or weighed down with other people's energy. So it's important that you have a good baseline for your own frequency so that you can discern your own frequency and energy from other people's you might be picking up and things like that too. And that'll really, really help you to stay more clear or have more clarity. With today's Mercury Cazimi, expect some clarity on your path. This just could be a psychic sense, picking up on something, or even, I love it, downloads and creative buzz and ideas. Life, I'm not saying that to you, but life can sometimes make you feel a little flat. You're doing the same thing all the time. Sometimes when we have this Cazimi energy, it's like, ooh, I got a brilliant idea. You're like, I don't know where that came from, but you get excited about it. It could be a new project, a new direction, whatever it is kind of coming in. And sometimes these are messages coming through on a higher level. So pay attention to is for you, especially if you're like buzzing with anything. It could be, how you feel about a situation and getting clarity on it, or just picking up on things. Okay, Julie Weeb. Balance, centered energy, and self-care. Make sure that you are taking care of yourself. This is so important as we are navigating 2025 global ascension. A lot of high frequency energies coming in. I know we had kind of a blast. I call them waves. Kind of a wave coming in last night, and it's not stopping. So we're in a lot of heightened energy right now, and we're learning how to navigate that from this 5D kind of way, right? And alignment and things like that too. And so it's important that you're taking care of yourself. Now we're in a culture that's like go, 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 right? Learning how to rest, like learning how to ebb and flow, that requires sometimes moving, sometimes resting, right? Like getting in a better balance with that. It's important how you're showing up for yourself and taking care of yourself on an energy level too, and showing up for yourself energetically. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself and taking care of your energy too. So sometimes we're taught, self-care is like laying around the house and doing nothing. Yeah, it can be, but it's also how we take care of our own energy. And so this is energy hygiene, energy cleansing, and things like that. And so the past couple of days, I was posting a lot about it, clearing your energy and cleansing your energy. But you might feel that with this shift that we're in currently right now, that you might feel you might feel kind of a need to do, like I was saying, it's like deep cleaning your house energy and your energy field kind of coming up too, so that you can stay in better balance too. So make sure you're taking care of yourself first, especially a lot of you guys that are always taking care of those around you and things like that. Make sure that you're in balance with that too, and things like that. Take care of your own needs too. Let's do, oh my God, thank you, Julie, helps a ton. Lorraine. Ancestors, historical connections, and purpose. And our ancestral connection is very, very important. Oftentimes we've actually been, most of the work, I want to say 90% of the work that you actually came here to Earth, or you ended up doing here on Earth, you didn't want to, right? Like 90% of that is actually clearing generational trauma. And you might notice that, but oftentimes we don't have a view of the same family line. And so the karma travels down family lines. Illness can too, but we know that's part of karmically connected, any of that. And also patterns that we pick up. And this could be in childhood unconsciously. And oftentimes we're only now becoming consciously aware enough to heal and purge out certain things that may no longer be serving us. And so we're very connected to our family line. And when I think of ancestors, I don't think of like your parents are right here, or whoever you have in your family right here on Earth. I'm thinking of the other side, okay? And so some of you guys have very powerful spiritual guides on the other side, and some of them you never even met. Like, what? And you might not even have any awareness of them in this life, but you are so divinely guided and protected from the other side, and you have spiritual guides. Now, some of your, we could say family, might even go on to be your spiritual guide if you have a very close connection with them, but they have an interest in helping you to heal, especially if it's something that originated with them or was passed down in their lifetime that you're now struggling with or dealing with and things like that too. So just know that you have so much help when we deal, I just call it the other side, right? But when you're dealing with the other side, you're able to actually tap in and connect and get a lot of spiritual guidance and powerful messages that will really help you on your soul's journey and things like that too. So I just put your ancestors in the spiritual kind of, the spirit guide, loved ones on the other side, or even ancestral line. And they can be very, very powerful in helping you with whether it's healing work, manifestation work, magic work, whatever it is on this side, or even protecting you or helping you to heal something or to release something. And so we have to really nurture and work on our spiritual connection. You want to be connecting with your loved ones and ancestors on the other side. It can very much heal you and help you to heal you karmically, especially if you're dealing with trauma that you're still working through. And I see that on the planet. I see a lot of trauma coming up fast in these energies. So it can really, really help you on many, many different levels. But this is also about your spiritual purpose. And this is a lot of what we're going to be talking with. So I feel this is like higher level work and, lower, I don't want to say lower, but Matrix is just survival mode. It's literally like working in material and not much else. And when you do elevate and begin to work on yourself spiritually, you begin to really, really open up and maybe even elevate into the higher realms. And they're very focused in the higher realms on mission, purpose, energy alignment and making a difference and things in the higher. And so sometimes this is something that needs to activate in divine timing, I'm sure, if you're ready, but it's something we all have the ability to connect with, and we can really, really find ourselves by connecting with our spiritual mission and our purpose. And this Kazemi can help give you some clarity on your mission and what you're being guided to do, or ways that you can be of service. And souls really are divided in two categories: service of self, right, ego, and the soul, which is service of other people. And in fact, a lot of our life lessons test us to see where we're at with that too. And so we call it polarize. This can polarize us to the more positive. Obviously, if we have a really service of self soul, they might, I don't want to say selfish, but I'm going to use the word, might be very in ego or selfish and, have a negative impact on those around them because they don't really care about the other people, how they're affecting them. We have that, and that's kind of the lower expression, but the higher is service of other people and being more conscious and aware of how you're impacting the people around you and things like that. And so this is like very, very positive to shift into a more positive polarity. In fact, a lot of the negative lessons and experiences that people draw to them in their life, I always talk about energies like accidents and illness. This is actually meant to help people. Call it seek God, to find God, or to get spiritual on some type of level. So sometimes when we're going through negative or karmic experiences, they can help us to really tap into our spiritual side and to find God and to polarize us into shifting into a more positive person, right? And things like that. And so this is like that kind of energy, but this is like soul mission kind of energy. And I always ask, like, how on your mission are you? And if people are like, mission, what is that? Then, maybe something worth going deeper into. When I do the reading call work with you guys, first call, I go into your chart and we're going to flip through that kind of stuff and kind of see what you're doing here on this planet, what you should be doing, and what you're healing karmically and things like that. I just do that the first call to kind of, so I can look and tell and things like that. So very worth kind of telling. Now, some of you guys might be like, I've been on my spiritual mission, how to elevate that, how to bring that through it even more. And sometimes this could mean getting creative or just kind of working with the energies or whatever it is for you. It just kind of depends on what that is. But usually your spiritual purpose and mission are very connected to your spiritual gifts and, bringing those online and sharing them with the planet. So for you, I always say North Node astrology, connecting with your spiritual path, your soul mission, and what you're doing here. And that'll make you feel really, really good. And in a very, very powerful way, and bring you a lot of healing into your life. Let's do David Curtin, elementals, nature spirits, and the 4 elements. So this is also, and we can find a lot of balance. We're actually made of the elements. So when you flip through your astrology chart, you're going to say you have a bunch of different signs, right? And you might be more strong in a couple or the other. It just kind of depends. And so we want to become more balanced. So someone who is like, all fire, we'll say, we're just making up an example, all fire, probably shouldn't be dating a water sign, right? And actually, I see a lot of the elements don't just make up us as a being, but, can affect our friendships and dynamics in our life and relationships and things like that too. But usually we draw the opposite to us, right? And so if you're like full on fire, you're probably going to be really drawn to water because you're lacking it, right? And it's like the duality and the balancing and things like that to help us maybe to develop those elements or traits or whatever we may need in our everyday lessons. So we can connect with the elements in a really, really powerful way. We know that water cleanses us, earth can be really grounding, fire can motivate us and fuel us, and of course air, right, with the ideas and stuff like that. So when we connect with the elements, and I mean out in nature, I love wind. That's my element, the energy, if you guys know me, right? Working with the energy and helping on the collective too when there's a lot of it. I know what to do with it. So that's like my element, and it can be different than your actual sun sign, like what element you're really good with and things like that too. So we can work with the elements in a very, very powerful way, and we can go outside and ground. You hear that a lot in the Ascension, like to go outside and ground, and it can help us to remove and clear negative energy or just to balance us overall and things like that too. We know water is really, really purifying. If you're an empath, I was gonna say damn well, but very well that if you get out by a river or a lake or a stream, you're gonna feel really, really good. It's gonna make you feel better. The ocean, you're gonna feel amazing. Spend a day at the ocean, you're gonna feel all cleansed and good. And so it can really, really help us. We know fire can really burn stuff away. Great time to write a manifesting list, or you're trying to clear something and you write down a list of everything you hate and burn it. Right? And so we know that we can get rid of things that way. And so working with the elements is really, really powerful. This is the card or a message or a sign about connecting with the elementals and kind of working your magic and connecting with the elemental realms, and you might find your power there. So this is like heart chakra energy, connecting with the 4th dimension and connecting with the elementals and the magic to be found there. And I usually prefer the forest, right? Like getting away from the cities. I can't live in like very overcrowded cities with no trees. It makes me feel out of balance and things like that. And a lot of you guys might know that. And so this could just be like, connecting more with nature and things like that, and getting out and finding yourself in nature, or connecting with the magic found there, or whatever it is. Let's do Jaquel Brown. Prophets and ancient seers, decisions and predictive guide. And I love this because this is like the oracle card too, like the message right here if you need me, right? But anyways, this is connecting, and this is connecting in. So maybe you have really, really strong third eye gifts. Maybe you know that, or maybe you're working on developing them. This is something we continue to work on as we're working on ourselves and working on accessing, tapping into, and better harnessing our gifts and things like that too. So always pay attention. And even when I was awake at times, probably when I needed it the most, I was having dreams that were showing me things about everyday situations that I might needed to be mindful of. I write a lot about this. I had a lot of out-of-body experiences. I was having a lot of astral experiences, or maybe just we talk about picking up on things intuitively, but we're talking about the third eye too. This could be visions of the future. This is my favorite gift that comes through for starseeds. It's like you've been shown, you're in chapter 10 and you've been shown chapter 23 of how your life looks and where you're meant to end up. But from chapter 10, you have no idea how you're going to get there, right? You have no idea how you're going to get there, but you're just being shown like a future glimpse of your life, or the life you want, or your blueprint, or where you're going to end up. For some people, and I talk about this, it could be like connected to your gifts, like one day you're going to do this, or you're going to do that, or you're going to live here, or this will be your life. And you might feel a disconnect of like, okay, I know that, but I'm not sure how to get there. Like it's a path, right? Like you're on this spiritual journey. And so pay attention, because Spirit loves to show us glimpses of our future that may not make sense to us in the now, but help us to get there, and will give you clarity on it. And it could be in all different ways. Like, okay, one day I know I'm gonna, have this business or this house or this relationship. A lot of people talk about this and kind of picking up on things, and this is supposed to help us. And so when we really work with the energies of the third eye, we can pick up on a lot, but we can also see things as they are, and we can break down the illusions. And so a lot of the illusions happen right here in our own mind and things like that. So as we open up our third eye, we can better see things, discern things, and see through things as well too. This is like working with the energies of the third eye. For you, pay attention to specific, I want to say, like, it could come through, like, maybe you're not an images person, but usually it comes through as like images, glimpses, ideas, connecting. And a lot of times we're learning how to connect remotely and tap into things. So a lot of you guys can maybe work with the energies of the past for yourself and other people, or even the future. And with this message, all future, but learning how to tap into your future to better navigate your path moving forward. Third eye energy, work with the energies of your third eye. Trust what you're picking up on. Thank you, Lorraine. Teacher, learning a new path. This can put you so far ahead. I do a lot of phone calls like lately, right? Okay, I'm doing a lot of, obviously I do the energy healing, but I love to do the one-on-one work with you because I can help you with the patterns and things you're not noticing that you've been kind of programmed in, and that's my job, like trying to help you guys with your programming and things like that. So when you get a good mentor, teacher, healer, this will help you with breaking out of things that have been holding you back and breaking out of patterns and things like that too, and staying open to learning new things, right? And a lot of people like it, maybe not like it, whatever, but when you guys are ready, you're gonna find people that can help you, and that people will help to accelerate your journey if you didn't notice. Just like sometimes if you guys ever had a really karmic experience, it probably cataclysed you or it triggered a lot of healing. But when you guys find a good ascension teacher that will help you go through the process, I've had to go through this process and I'm still going through it with you guys. And so I'm really, really good at it, what comes up and what to be healing or what to be working through or what to be working on. So just as you're going to find your teachers, they're not going to let you, real teachers don't make you codependent on them. I hate to say this, and that they're going to help you to get stronger within yourself and more mastery. So sometimes just as you're going to find those teachers, they may even fall off your timeline as needed. And so they may come in and out. So at different times, you may have people that can play a powerful role in a positive way on your path that will help you. This is like when you first wake up, I feel spirit guides come out of nowhere to help you within the awakening, because you're kind of stepping into new realms and dimensions, and it's a little bit new to you. And so sometimes when you've gone through a spiritual awakening, you might notice that like the old is falling away and new people are appearing. And this is a good thing. And that this can indicate like spiritual connection, soulmate connection, people coming in that can really, really help you with your journey and things like that too. So stay open to teachers. Gail Gregg, up from the depths, releasing difficulty. And this is literally moving through whatever's coming at you on your path. And remember, it's all about mastering yourself. So even negative experiences are a chance to level up and rise out of things. And so when I see the depths, it's always the depths of ourselves, right? It's going deeper within yourself. This is transformation. This is spiritual awakening energy. It could be getting to know yourself on a deeper level. It could be diving in when we talk about like shadow work. It's diving deep into ourselves or uncovering things. And so as we do, I call it purge, release, purge out shadow aspects, traumas, inner child blocks, whatever it is, we uncover our light. we glow better. So a lot of times people think, like, oh, light workers don't go through a lot. Actually, light workers have gone through the most shadow work to become that much light. And so the more that you dive into the avoided things we need to uncover, things we need to see about ourselves, the karma, the trauma, and you go into it, this is where the release happens, and you can level up faster and raise your frequency because it's everything that weighs us down, right? And so this is like kind of the spiritual work that everyone has to go through to integrate into the 5D, and it could be different for everyone of what that is too. So this is like uncovering healing energies. If you feel you've been in, I don't want to call it dark into the soul because hopefully you guys are way through that, but darker times, or you having something come up, or your struggle, remember this is the chance to release it and to rise up into the light and go into these higher levels, whatever they may entail for you too. So we should never be afraid to dive deeper into ourselves. In fact, that's what awakening requires, for us to really, really go deep within ourselves and to reflect and to, learn things about ourselves and heal certain things too. Make sure you're studying your own patterns in yourself and getting to know yourself better, and things like that too. So we should be able to know our own shadow, not to repress it, to be more in control of it. So it doesn't rule our lives and sabotage or whatever. And so the more that we are aware of things that we are working on or working through, and if someone is like to me, like I'm not doing any work and they're all messy still, sometimes that can affect us if we're learning with them and things like that. So the more that we are working on ourselves and becoming self-aware, the more that we're actually healing, right? And stuff like that. So just whatever's coming up for you during this time, being guided to look at it like a powerful shift or opportunity for transformation in a positive way. Let's do Joseph Ellie, good on the boundaries. Relaxation, peaceful pursuits, and happy times. Make sure you're taking care of yourself, and this could be getting out of the fight or flight stress mode. Okay, stress is really terrible for us. And welcome to Earth, right? Jokes aside, but it is. And when we're living in an activated, I'll call it activated nervous system, fight or flight, sometimes we don't even notice, okay? This could be a state of triggering on the energy level, and this could just be anything. It could be something, bump in the road come up, lots of those come up for us to move through, or whatever it is. And so we're learning to take care of ourselves on the energy level and to take care of our nervous system. And when we do that, this is how we truly heal, is to shift our nervous system out of this state of panic. When I'm looking at anxiety, a lot of people have anxiety and things like that, especially empaths. Number one, it can be picking up on energy, but if it's something coming from within you and your own energy, I'm looking at this as like, I don't want to call it a stage, but first stage of nervous system activated. You start to feel anxiety. I think we all know what that feeling feels like. And then the fear might be like super activated. Okay, so we might go through these stages, and it could be anything. This is why it's important that we're healing our triggers, because if we don't, and we're always triggered all of the time with the same triggers, it could be really affecting our overall body energy and even nervous system. And I don't want to call it false activating, but sometimes people go through that have had a lot of very real trauma in the past. A lot of you guys may struggle even out of those situations, those traumatic situations, with anxiety that's coming up, because it indicates kind of needing to heal and take care of your energy and nervous system and things like that too. So you could have gone through a lot, and then suddenly you're finding you're a little bit more touchy when it comes to either fear or anxiety coming up. And this is fight or flight response, right? And so what is our fight or flight response? Okay, number one, fight is just arguing. It's like, okay, so you're in a relationship, bad example, there's the bickering and not getting along. That's fight response. Now, people deal with stress in different ways. A lot of times people freeze. That's the anxiety and you can't move. It's the panic, right? It sets in. Or my favorite, flight. A lot of people are in fight or flight and don't even know it. This is high level of avoidance, and I'm not talking about avoiding your person or relationship, within themselves. A lot of people are avoiding healing, right? Even though if we heal, we can, do better and feel better and things like that too. So we go into this state of avoidance and things like that. So a lot of people are living in, I call it survival mode, which isn't the best. And so that can indicate obviously needing to heal the root chakra and the energy. Now, when we really dive deep into our healing, we start to feel a lot better. We're not triggered 15 times for the same thing because we've gone in and released that trigger, and it's no longer affecting us and no longer stressing us out all day. And, we start to do better with everything. It's not just our connection, but in all areas of our life too. And then guess what? Your body, when you heal, actually can just chill out and relax. Because we're talking about enlightenment. That's another conversation, right? But we're trying to get to enlightenment. And so if we're constantly stressed out, and then sometimes when we feel that energy response of anxiety or fear, we start to overthink and panic, and it sets the ego off, right? Because our body's all connected. So when your nervous system's picking up on things, and it doesn't even have to be anything. It could be subtle energy, someone's reaction, triggers, can set things off too. So the more that you heal, you're going to be more don't want to call it as in a calm state, and you're going to be able to actually chill out and heal and relax. And so we have to be able to first soothe or calm down the nervous system, because if it's always like walking around like a ball of stress, obviously it has total body, effects and things like that too. Maybe you're being guided to like slow down, relax, and work on your healing, or to work through certain triggers. So my favorite thing about triggers is if people don't heal and, they have certain triggers in a relationship, we'll just use that as an example. They, break up and go into another relationship, they're taking those triggers with them everywhere they go. So until we heal ourselves and our triggers, we're going to be carrying around the same triggers in every interaction, doesn't matter who it is. So a lot of people I know have to get sick of their own cycles in relationships and close connection to be able to be like, okay, I need to heal my own patterns, triggers, and responses, or things that come up, or things I'm carrying around energetically, to get a different response in how things are going in anything outside of myself. So a lot of healing takes us back to ourself and what we're working through, or whatever we're having come up to. So this can indicate, if you've been like stressed out or going through a lot, come into a smooth space, or the healing that you're doing kind of paying off, or just being guided to still focus on your healing and, working on that. Okay, let's see, Samantha P. Soulful appreciation, heartfelt gratitude, and I was like oozing oozing's a bad word, right? Feeling this very strongly for that Gemini new moon. Like sometimes this is where spirituality will take you, and I really think this is in a space of like really connecting with the spiritual. So I know we're kind of busy doing our stuff. I call it the day-to-days, but when you do have the time and space to really express gratitude, and this is also, it's very, I call it seraphim. It's very angelic and seraphim, to just connect with source and just to, I don't know how to put this into words, to just connect with that energy and to be grateful and to work on that spiritual connection. And this brings so much good energy into your life, where you're really, really feeling it for anything, your life, where it's at. It's just like that stillness and appreciating wherever you're at, whatever you have, wherever your journey has brought you. And it's to fully connect with source and that energy and to feel it. And like sometimes I'm not into like this fake or make it thing, that's the Matrix, but to really, really feel it and to come to this place of that gratitude. And it could be about anything, and sometimes you might be feeling it as relief. Like I always describe it as like you're sitting there with your cup of tea and you just have 5 minutes where you're like a sigh of relief, like for anything, your situation, something worked out, you're doing better than you thought, life's going pretty good. I can flash forward you some countries that aren't that great to live in, whatever it is that you need to see to get to that space. A lot of the negativity, and I hate to say this, but this is what people learned in past lifetimes. A lot of our path has been an attitude adjustment, and we don't like to hear that at all, right? A lot of your life has been an attitude adjustment to recalibrate you and to get you to shift how you see things, the lens, the mindset, and things like that. And so it could be for anything in your life. This is like literal crown chakra work, and to really, really feel that, because sometimes people are in a really negative mindset. They have a lot of blessings they may not be noticing. And so it's also to shift into a positive mindset and to really, really feel that and to embody it. So I've been seeing this all over, because I see everything on social media probably. And so I see a lot of embodiment. And so this is where, if you guys have been watching my videos, I've told you, I hope I've taught you some things or told you some things, but you guys are seeing it everywhere. You've learned this stuff. You'll see that these missions are here to help you to learn the 5D, right? So you could be watching a YouTube video, Facebook video, reading articles, reading books, okay? And I mean on spiritual stuff. So you've been integrating this, you've been learning this. So it's one thing to watch a movie or a video. It's another, we need embodiment. That means that you know how this stuff works. You know you're manifesting your reality. You know that there's no karma that's been holding you back, only your negative thoughts that manifested that perceived situation, and that you can really integrate this stuff and make it change your life for the better. And that as you're learning this stuff, whatever it is in the spiritual, it's about embodying that. So it's like one thing to be like, okay, in your mind, you know that you're manifesting your reality and you have to take care with your thoughts, but it's another to actually do it. Like, right? Okay, so then you got to sit there and practice and do whatever it is. And this is embodiment. It's to actually get this knowledge and embody it. to really live it, to really allow it to change you and change your life or whatever it is. And so this can change your entire course of your destiny, your entire path, what you're manifesting and everything. But we have to take what we're learning and actually do it. So it's like, okay, you can sit and watch TikTok videos and YouTube videos and Facebook videos all day and you're learning stuff, but it's another to actually embody it and put it into practice. So it could be anything like, okay, you need to clean your diet up, you need to take vitamins, you need to do energy work. It's actually doing it. And this is how we make this work for us. So it's also about embodiment too. And so, I could sit all day and tell someone, not you, but someone with a really negative mindset, you got to stay more positive and things like this. And they'll just be like, oh yeah, okay. But it's actually when we can do that, when we can embody this teachings, this divine knowledge, this is where the transformation takes place too. And this is really about the gratitude too, that we have to actually feel it, right? And to really begin to live that way too. So this isn't just like something that we do, once a week, this spiritual stuff. We need to really live it and really begin to do it too. So this is like, shifting the mindset, staying grateful, counting your blessings, and it begins to open up so much more positivity in your life. So staying grateful, and one of my favorite things, I go back to the basics. I've had to go back to the basics every time when my life with the spirals has been taking me in personally, right? It's just and I love to do this before bed. You can, when you're laying in bed, just count 3 things. We used to do 10 in my groups, but count 3 things that you're grateful for that were okay about your day. 3 positive things. You had to have 100. You're not going to have the same day again. And just to recap and maybe just put it out there. And I mean, with the universe, this can really, really help open up our crown chakra. And when we open up our crown chakra, this is where we chill out our ego and really open up our spiritual connection too. Prayer is powerful for that. Just sitting there reflecting, whatever you do. Okay, Cree-Dawn, emotional desert, inactivity and isolation. And so someone was saying this, and I see it because I see a lot of people going through awakening in real time, and they were saying they felt like they were losing, I don't want to say everything, losing connection. So sometimes when we go through a spiritual awakening, I described that happened to me too. We might feel like we're losing relationships, friends, family, whatever it was, like our entire old 3D life and stuff like that. And at times you might even feel a little isolated. And I feel this is why community is so important and why I show up too. And so I feel, and you guys know that because I do Facebook pages and groups and things like that. I feel community is very, very important, not just on social media, but in real life, because we're going to have to start to come together for each other, I think. Well, we'll see how the world keeps spinning, right? But I see that you have the potential to help people or vice versa or whatever it is. And it could be support or other ways that we can. And so this is coming together for better community is also the solution and things like that. But you may feel that there may be points or a point in your spiritual journey where you feel isolated or you feel by yourself. This could happen in a room full of people. You could be out in a very social setting, and you might feel alone sitting there, or it could be literally you've been hermiting and spending a lot of time by yourself, getting in your own vibe. And a lot of people can't do that. A lot of times people fill themselves with maybe unhealthy connection if they haven't done the spiritual work, or distractions or whatever it is that people use to make themselves feel better. And so for the people that are going on the awakening path that can really sit with themselves, this is where you have to face your ego, your own self, your shadows. And then we talked about transmuting all that, healing all of that. And so a lot of people can't do that. They could get depressed, dark night of the soul, having to face the work they have to do, or their own thoughts might be maybe negative, and they drive themselves crazy sitting there, and they call a friend or whatever they do. But this is where the biggest transformation takes place. And then that you're not by yourself, and that actually you might begin to thrive in that situation where you might have felt lonely before, because you realize that this is where you connect with source and you're getting your direct guidance from source, and you're not by yourself, and you can best follow the guidance you're getting and do things or whatever it is too. And so I always say, oh, that's temporary. Like someone's like, I'm feeling a little alone, my friends and family just all dropped off my timeline, usually not by choice. I said, that's temporary. Don't worry. People will come back in, whether it's new people or the same people later once you've healed, whatever it is too. So also trusting the flow of your journey and where it's taking you. You're never by yourself. Just know that. And that sometimes if you feel like you're by yourself, and this could be out of wanting to be by yourself, right? Or you know what I mean? Or whatever it is. Or jokes aside, you've been kind of guided to that place, using it as an opportunity to connect with the spiritual and to better connect with your own spirit guides, intuition, angels, and source will really, really help you too, because then you know you're not by yourself. You never were. But sometimes it is in these spaces where we're going through a lot of upgrades, and I've seen that. I've seen people completely taken out of their jobs, family, whatever it is, relationships, to have to go through some of the ascension upgrades that we go through, because it can be an intense energetic process too. And so sometimes you're needing to recalibrate your vibe. For anyone that's finding they're spending a little bit more time with themselves, you might be recalibrating your energy. It could be a frequency jump, it could be healing something, whatever it is. Profound healing happens in those spaces, but also profound wisdom, knowledge, and being able to tap in. Nivea. Confusion, many choices, and uncertainty. Look, all these timelines. Okay. And I always talk about these like choose your ending novels, but they were before my time. But I remember my older siblings had them, but they were like, turn to page 72 if you make this choice or whatever it is. And so, you know, a lot of times people say, oh, I can't do this. It's impossible. This is a good example. Or things are really black and white. Is this a yes or no? Is this going to work out or not? And this is an entire multiverse, baby. Like literally. Anything that you want in your head first, we talk about, you can end up there. You can shift there. There's a literally alternate universe where you're living your dream life. It could be like, you know, anything that you want, desire, want to experience. It is there. It is tangible. It is literally a shift away. And so we have a lot of quantum shifts that are happening. And so many of you guys might feel that deeply, that when you're manifesting, you're aligning with that timeline to embody that manifestation, whatever it could be. And so we're just going to use that example again. It's your dream car. You're deciding for your dream car. But in this reality, you just really don't think you can afford it, or whatever reasons you have for, I don't know if it's possible. There is a reality where you're already driving that dream car and living that life. You just have to align with it. And it's literally kind of like when we make these jumps, some of them are small, sometimes some of them are bigger too. And so this is like literally anything that you want to manifest, you can dream up, you can think up, you can have the opportunity to shift to that reality. And so sometimes this is like, maybe you just don't know where you're going and you're letting things unfold. But the more intentional we get, I want the dream car, and this is just bad example, fill in the blank for your manifestations. I want that dream car. You will get that dream car. As long as you stay intentional and focused on it, somehow, some way, it will align. And I don't care what limits you have, the universe will make it happen. If you want it bad enough, you will experience it in this lifetime too. So sometimes this can get a little weird, because when we were asleep, it was just kind of walking a straight path. But once you awaken, you have a lot more opportunities and choices, and you're having to figure out what you want, because you were presented with more oftentimes too as you're kind of waking up and going through this too. So this is just for anything. And I love that picture because it's like all over the place. We talked about Gemini being scattered energy, but making something happen, anything that you desire, it's time to soul search. And that's the best word to use for navigating this experience, and to get more clear on what you desire, what you're manifesting, and what direction you want to be taking. Because when you decide, the path opens up literally where you're going. Let's do Julie Atre, past life guides, karmic lessons, and present assistance. And I love this too, because I believe, and this is just my belief, that oftentimes some of our guides, they could be from past lifetimes. They might even be aspects of you from past lifetimes. Like your past lifetimes, right? All right, and they are here guiding you when we talk about the oneness and the nature of soul and spiritual groups and things like this. So they are helping you. This is a card about karmic lessons. And we always thought it was punishment, like some deity was punishing us, and reward and punishment or whatever it is, but it's nothing like that. This is what kind of confused me when I was going through my awakening and the karmic lessons kept coming. Like, okay, yeah, and it's nothing to do with a good or bad person or the black and white thinking we've been programmed for. You're going to continue to have life lessons as you go through this experience, as long as you're on earth, and every lifetime that we're here, because we're learning how to, work on ourselves spiritually, and they help us to do that. So sometimes we look at the lesson and we can't always figure it out, and that's okay. You could have gone through a really negative experience and it changed you. I see people all the time, like they've gone through something really negative. Like I was seeing this about a celebrity where someone told them they couldn't do whatever, and then it fueled them and they were going to go prove they could. And, they're a big superstar now and things like that. So you could have gone through, something negative in your life that kind of fuels you and makes you do something. The universe gives you not always what you always want, but what you need to fuel you on this journey or whatever it is too. So it gives you the lessons, like maybe someone says, you can't do this, and you're like, I can, and you're going to go prove it or whatever it is. So sometimes the lessons are not straightforward, but they're meant to help you in some type of way on your path, whether this is integrating something, healing something, awakening something. A lot of times we go through karmic experiences or maybe even karmic connection in our life to help us with our awakening, because this is where the deepest shadow work is done, or integration, or needing to see something or learn something or whatever it is. And sometimes we need those lessons moving forward because they're going to help us in some type of way. So this is also something that sometimes we need to move through, sometimes we need to learn a lesson, or sometimes we need to better integrate it. And karma is just cause and effect. It's like literally like we don't mind when we're at the good side of it, but it's like having the short end of the stick. It's not that fun, right? It's literally just your own reactions mirrored back to you so that you learn, okay, yeah. And so we can actually get rid of all karma in our life by simply treating people better. Like, right? Oh my gosh, so sometimes karmic mess, and it can take 7-year cycles for things to come back. Sometimes we're not always seeing the karmic patterns of where something come from in our life in the now, because it could have come from a few years ago or whatever. We want to clear the karmic slate. We want to heal things karmically. And unfortunately, some of the karmic cycles that we may be experiencing usually go back to childhood or even farther back. And so as we heal our inner child relationship stuff, we begin to heal karmically and to step out of some of the karmic cycles of our life that may or may not make sense to us too. And so through healing our own behavior patterns and energy things, we can release that. Now, a lot of times we're trying to do, I call it talk therapy, and I do a lot of that too lately. But actually, sometimes we carry karmic imprints. And so if you have, had a karmic lesson that you're indebted to, we talk about karmic debt, I picture it like a little ball. It's in your energy field. And so thus comes the, karmic partner and someone to work it out with you. In a negative light, it's actually encoded energy. So the best way to heal is to actually clear our energy and to release these imprints. And talking about it all day isn't going to help. I'm just saying, right? Okay, so it's actually things on an energy level. So we've been encoded to have certain experiences or from, karmic blocks or things we need to resolve. So energy healing is really, really effective for helping us to release karmic energies, karmic blocks, and even karmic imprints that may still be affecting us or could affect us moving forward from previous experiences or things that we've been through too. This is karmic healing card, but also connecting with your spirit guides on this healing work and what to be doing in your specific situation or what to be healing for you. So karmic healing, we're beginning to understand things a little bit better. I'd say to deal with it or to heal it. I see Wendy. Conscious steps, considered action and looking forward, becoming more conscious in where you're going, what direction you're taking. When I deal with action, it is Mars energy. It's how you move your energy. And that's different for different people. It's also what fuels your energy and what makes you feel good. Right? We know that Mars has a lot to do with different areas of our life as to, success or even our love life and stuff like that too. When I see that action word, it's like, maybe your spirit guides are kind of nudging you to take care of something or in a new direction or that you need to do something. And it could be literally the voice in the back of your head. Like whenever I'm getting a message, sometimes it's like repeated message coming through. Like maybe you heard a voice in your head a couple times tell you to do something or you need to take care of something or something's on the back burner or something isn't resolved or you have something unfinished. This could be a project, something you need to do, or even a new direction that you're being guided to move in and trust and kind of walk towards or move towards too. So this is also a message about continuing to move forward on your path, but is there something that you need to take care of that your spirit guides have been kind of trying to get your attention on lately? All right, I'm going on that note anyways. Have a beautiful day. I do have healings and activations on for today. I think I told you guys that, but I have them pinned on my video. You can do anything in my shop all the time anyways. If you need me, just go ahead and book me on there. Have a beautiful day.